What about technology in this universal world? You know, by 2020 we will have mobile devices faster than a 2005 PC. And all innovation is divergent. This comes back to the issue about the radar screen. Let me say again, you cannot innovate through benchmarking. Benchmarking is a way to oblivion. All you do is become identical to everyone else on price and quality. So how do you have a competitive advantage? Every competitive advantage happens not from convergence, but from divergence. It happens from the outer edge of the radar screen where no one else is looking. And yes, I know we can think about some crazy ways that technology might innovate for the future, and some of them might seem laughable to you, but we will find new ways to use just about anything. Okay. Oh, what about the brain and IT? I'm interested in bio-digital worlds. We have not only the capacity, I think, in the future to produce a camera with the resolution of the human eye. By the way, it could be a bio camera. One of the things, we already have the capacity to regrow retinal cells at the back of the eye of someone who's gone blind. And these cells automatically connect to the optic nerve so an animal can see again. Astonishing. Now I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about the fusion of digital and bio worlds. I'm talking about these brain cells, which you can see here, growing on the surface of a computer chip. Brain cells are intelligent, and they recognize other intelligence. And brain cells automatically connect to computer chips. They need no teaching, they just do it. All you do is you mix brain cells in water, you float them onto the surface of chips, you sit back and relax and feed them. And if you do that, you will find quite soon that electrical signals start to be picked up by the chips. The brain cells connect not only to the chips, but they also start to put out feelers to each other. They connect to each other, they connect to the chip. You get a biodigital device. I'm telling you history, my friends. You tell me the future. These devices have been grown for the last 5 to 10 years. So could we have a human brain that can go online? This is history. We already did it in animals. We have rats and mice that can think electrically. They produce currents and thoughts which go from one mouse to another. The mouse says, I'm thirsty, and a signal electronically goes to another mouse in another laboratory saying, please, can you give me a drink? If the other mouse agrees to give the first mouse a drink, he gets some food. We are living in a strange world. I am not saying that you're going to have a plug-in module for mathematics in the future or language. I'm just saying we are entering new territory for the future. So, what about other ways of thinking about innovation?
With astonishing dexterity, a monkey reaches out to grab and turn a handle with a robotic arm controlled not by its hands, but directly by its brain. With the power of thought, it can alter the speed and direction of the arm, twisting the joints to home in on its target. It shows no signs of distress from the wires leading from electrodes in its brain to a computer. The reward for each turn of the handle, a drink of water. Sky News was given exclusive access to the lab at the University of Pittsburgh to see just how close scientists are to helping paralyzed patients. Human trials are likely to start next year.
The monkey learns this fairly rapidly and is very comfortable with it. As you can see, as the days go by, they actually start using this as if the device has been embodied. So it almost seems like they think of it as part of their own body.
The mind control works through a device implanted directly into the motor cortex, the part of the brain that governs voluntary movement. Electrodes pick up pulses within the millions of neurons and send them to a computer, which deciphers the pattern and strength of the signals to move the robotic arm.
And he has to be very precise because that marshmallow will fall off if he knocks it the wrong way. So he has to be very
At first, monkeys moved pincers to retrieve a marshmallow and feed themselves, a feat in itself. But the three-dimensional movement of a wrist is far more complex.
You can see that the wrist and the arm itself orients very nicely to this doorknob so that we can twist it.
This is all that connects the monkey's brain to the robot. A tiny plate just 4 millimeters across, packed with 100 electrodes, each finer than a human hair.
Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that. I release you.
Can you control another person with your mind? Researchers at the University of Washington say they've done just that. This video posted on the lab team's website shows the researchers hooked up to electrical brain signaling caps. While watching a cannon-firing video game, one team member imagines his own finger flicking during the game.
Yes!
He's able to trigger that motion in his partner.
Brain control beats mind control any day of the week, because the brain tells the mind what to do.
A Duke University neuroscientist responded to the experiment, saying it's not a true brain-to-brain interface. It's like using a phone signal to trigger a magnetic jolt to the brain.
The force can have a strong influence on the weak-minded.
The researchers plan to publish the result of these experiments in a scientific journal.